Okay, sorry about the mess, but I want to go over a couple things that I've done for my 1990 Pontiac Firebird that I just bought that needed some repairs, and I think you might find useful for yourselves. So, this is the control knob for the mirror. And as you can see, it was pretty well broken up inside there. So I've taken it apart, and I bought this knob. The knob was gone, the control knob itself. Normally I don't know that super glue would be your best avenue to use for this, but in this case here, because the knob is in the middle of it and glued in with it, it's acting as its own secure piece. So I think this is going to work just fine when I put it back together and put it back into the door. Doesn't look too pretty, but I think it's going to be very functional. Alright, next thing was the door cup holder and document holder. So as you can see, this piece new is $75. What I did was kind of used some dowels that I'm going to use to put in there, and what I did was drill a little hole and put a small bolt into it, drilled out the centerpiece, and now all I got to do is get the cap, and that's going to be perfect just for the way it is. That should screw on there nicely and be done with that. Another thing I've done, as these parts are not cheap and they're not easy to come by, this is the undercarriage that I'm going to show you in the next video that was basically hanging down in there underneath it. So now what I've done is, rather than trying to find a new one or whatever, you can see I've taken this apart, cleaned it, and I've put some screw holes, drilled some small screw holes in it, so this piece will actually lay up underneath it like so. And not actually interfere with it. Interfere with your driving. So it'll lay like that, screwed in there like so, and it's actually going to look very uniform. Other thing is, another gentleman talked about this going up into the back. It doesn't sit real good behind it, so you're going to have to use some washers or something to go behind it. That's all. Next video I'm going to show you on this will be on adjusting the high beam dimmer switch. Thanks. It was relatively easy to do, and I wanted to demonstrate, show you how easy this cover goes back on and what needed to be done. The other gentleman basically kind of shows everything put together. Well, I'm going to show you it apart and then putting it together, so it kind of completes the thing and makes it a little easier to understand. This is nothing to be afraid of. You have two holes, two bolts, one here, and one here. 4 bolts that hold that piece on, that gives you access to the steering column. You loosen up the steering column bolts, which is another 4 bolts, and then it gives you free access to the dimmer switch. I'll show you again later. Thanks, bye.